Welcome to another enlightening interview on Spark Igniting Minds. We are thrilled to welcome back Dr. Mangayakarasi, a luminary in the field of English literature with over 3 decades of teaching experience. Dr. Mangayakarasi has inspired countless students and scholars with her extensive knowledge and research. Among her many accomplishments, her international papers on topics such as English language teaching for sustainable development and reimagining teaching, learning, and assessment in the 21st century stand out. Dr. Mangai Kasi also serves as a dedicated coordinator for the English Language Teachers Association, significantly impacting the academic community by organizing panel discussions and conferences nationwide. In today's episode, we delve into the fascinating intersection of psychology and English. Dr. Mangai Kasi will discuss how English literature influences our cognitive abilities, fosters empathy, and aids in psychological development. Namaste, Dr. Mangayakarasi, ma'am. And today, let's talk about, since you are deep into literature and you have been teaching almost for 32 years in Ethiraj College, and you have been the HOD also there. So, uh, let's go deep into the literature and talk something about psychology and literature in this episode. Okay, so welcome again, Dr. Mangayakarasi. Hearty welcome to you to Spark Igniting Minds.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
It's very interesting to integrate literature and psychology.
psychology. Yeah,
You got into a good
yeah.
word.
To start with, I would like to ask you, like somebody has said, the limits of my language means the limits of the world. Okay, so how do you interpret this? And like, even if you have to develop certain cognitive activities or thought process, how do you do that, ma'am?
Literature, as you say, it's an ocean.
Correct.
It is a bundle of emotional outbursts and emotional process, and there are so many things involved
Right.
into it.
Correct.
As a literature students, we are dreamers.
Right.
We just meet a lot of personalities,
Okay.
lot of characters, and each author, when they use catharsis to integrate the patterns of their lives and other things, that really helps a literature student to fine tune their personality. In my teaching, I teach them empathy.
Okay.
Empathy and emotion. That really is a good combination, I shall say. As literature students, they learn to empathize first, and then when they get into the world, they are better than other professionals.
Okay. And literature, like, helps you by reading literature and reading a lot of classics. You live 1,000 lives. It's not one
Exactly.
life. And
Exactly.
you connect with so many characters, and it brings a different psychological perspective altogether.
Exactly,
Isn't it so?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Their the cognitive approach itself, it differs. It is a different experience, a different journey, I shall
a
say.
lot of things to learn.
Yeah.
Maybe the way of life itself may change literature.
Literature.
Isn't it so?
Exactly, ma'am. When they analyze different lifestyles, different personalities, different characters, it really helps them to face the world. the challenges of the world.
Yes.
As such.
So they are already used to, they have read so many conflicts coming in, so many challenges the protagonist faces. And similarly, when they're in the real life, when they face such challenges, they easily know how to overcome it and come out of it suitable solutions.
Exactly, ma'am.
Yeah.
In Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, there were so many young women. The way they handle everything, even Jane Austen's other characters, Emma and Sydney Sheldon too, it really empowers them. Literature empowers them, actually.
Correct. Yeah, that's a wonderful literature empowers human beings. So reading, they must start reading. Reading should be a habit nowadays. I think that is eroding, and you have taken very. You have been instrumental, and you have taken steps to increase the reading population, I can say, through LTI, isn't it, sir?
Exactly,
So, what do you do, ma'am, to make them read more? And then, yeah.
In LTI, we have come up with India Reads now. In India Reads, we have different levels. Primary level, secondary level and tertiary level. We give them 100 or modules. Once you sign up MOU with us, we give them 100 or modules for language learners, for our teachers. We give them tasks. For example, if it is for primary level, for them at the level they can think of birthday parties.
Right.
So if you want to celebrate your birthday party, so how would you do that?
Okay.
And we give them a book and ask them to read that and come up with their own review of any other birthday parties.
Okay.
So sometimes if it is autobiography,
Right.
they can write their own autobiography in English.
Right.
Like that, we encourage them to read books, and for 100 hour modules, they have to work for 30 hours.
Okay.
And they have to come up with reviews and feedback and other things. In that way, in a year, at least we make them to read 5 or 6 books.
Oh, that is wonderful. Because like reading, also helps to cope up with the emotions, I can say. How literature helps coping with emotions and stress.
Exactly, ma'am. When they meet different characters,
Right.
that they empathize with that character, and then it really helps them to go through that process in a proper way. In Lambs in the Whirlpool, they have a character called Girija. It's translation studies. And how she comes out of the house and how she handles everything, that really empowers them. That really helps them to understand the challenges life gives them.
Throws at you,
Yeah.
isn't it, sir?
Yeah. So that when it throws, how to swim and come out of it.
Yeah.
To sail smoothly with that.
Yeah, with
That's what they
this
learn.
fast pacing life, I think people are getting into stress, and without reading, I think, or having a very little span of attention, not focusing on literature and all that, I think depression, mental health problems have been increasing. Then how do you see in younger, especially in young learners, how do you see that this stress management or coming out of depression, or how do you even make them read? Yeah.
So when we give them interesting tasks like this, when you have to be with them, on pace with them, to make them read. I have a mother, one of my friends. She makes her daughter read, and she reads it aloud, and then she makes her mother listen to it.
Okay.
So one you a pat on their back, certainly they'll get into the next level. They give us a book and they ask us to read. Whenever I visit their home, she asks me to read some stories for her. In turn, she reads a story and she asks me to come up with questions. So when I ask her questions, she's really happy to answer that questions and interact with me. In that way, it should be inborn. It should begin in the home front.
Okay, well, like when my children were young, I used to read them, or even if I don't read them, I used to tell them stories of novels, whichever I have read, Purple Haze, or something like that, even Ramayana, Mahabharata, or even stories, whichever we come across, which our mothers have told us. Even if we tell them, they know really how to cope up with the stress, or whenever there is a challenge, how to swim out, you said, how to swim and come out of that challenge. The children will know. And reading classics, literature, and also for any story for that matter, and focusing for a long period of time on a book, I think is therapeutic. So, what do you say? Like, how reading and writing can be therapeutic? Like, whenever people go with, psychiatrists especially, when they go with a problem during counseling, they ask whatever is there in your mind, just write it out.
That's
So, how do you want to interpret this, and what would you like to say on this?
when we read, we travel. It's a journey actually.
Okay.
We assume when we go to a movie, that's set by a director and actors, their delivery of dialogues and other things. Whereas reading, you assume everything. It's your own. Ownership is yours.
Yes.
A writer is somebody else, interpreted from his angle.
Yeah.
When you read, when you travel with them, you assume everything, you give shape to that character. And you have that character within you. And you interact
You
with
discover.
them. Yeah,
You discover the characters of the protagonist
Exactly.
inside you.
Inside you, you feel yourself as a hero.
Yes.
Protagonist.
Yes.
So that you give life to that character.
Right.
And then when you immerse into it, you forget everything. That's a very good stress buster, I shall say.
Yes.
For this fast-paced world,
Huh.
I shall suggest reading a therapy.
Reading
to
as a
come out of
therapy,
their stress.
and also writing as a therapy. If they have
Writing.
undergone something
When they're
very,
stressed,
very,
yeah.
a disappointment, maybe a broken relation, maybe, or if they have to really heal themselves and come out.
Yeah, that's what you do in Spark Igniting Minds. And if you come up with a workshop, a writer's workshop,
Yes.
and in a very good ambience, you come up with a lot of writers and mentors to share their experience. You
Yes.
started a very good, it just started off, kick-started that. And when we get into that, certainly the process of writing itself
Yeah.
changes, and
Yeah.
you've given a chance to that. Best
And
wishes.
I would like to give a chance to future students also, whoever wants to take up writing in Spark Igniting Minds. We conduct workshops. But then that is about reading and writing, I can say. So when even in the students, like in the adolescents, in the teenagers, they always crave for identity. They want themselves to be recognized by the world. At that age, the craving is more that they have to be something, and people have to really identify them. So how do literature helps in solving this problem, this psychological problem of getting themselves identified to the world?
There are so many avenues.
Yeah.
These days, we have so many avenues to get identity. And this identity crisis, it was there before. Now they have so many platforms open. Earlier they have to wait for an opportunity. Now there are so many opportunities waiting. So once they are creative, once they enhance their level, once they what shall I say, get into that creative process and present it in a proper way, certainly they have a chance to perform well in the outside world. Example, coding. Coding is very famous now. Coding, when they are good at coding. And there is Toastmasters club everywhere, and it gives them chance to come up. Even at young level, they come up with all those opportunities. There are umpty number of opportunities waiting for youngsters. And it is up to them to grab it. Instead of being in the world, in their gadget world, if they come out, if they read and come out, and if they
even whatever they experience in their gadget world, if they really come out and share it or write it down, or
certainly they'll come out of their all these issues,
adolescent issues. So, like, how do you think that mastering English influences one's self perspective?
Yeah, already I made a mention. It is connected with our personality. Once they are confident in using English properly, using English in a proper way, competent in it, certainly it boosts their morale and they become a successful individual.
Because English is a universal language and English has been accepted all over the world, and since there is an information explosion, I can say, and there's lot of in any field, you can say, like whether it is science, technology, everything, English has been used as a medium.
Exactly.
So learning English, mastering English, getting in deeper into the literature, understanding the psychological perspectives of those things, I think man can live a purposeful life and a happy life.
Yeah. So it's a therapy, as I mentioned. It's therapeutic, and at the same time, they can fine tune their personality too.
Okay.
For that, literature plays a vital role to perform well in the professional and home front.
Correct. Thank you so much, Dr. Mangayakarasi, for such an, I don't know, you're deep into the literature. You have analyzed the characters. You have come across so many characters, so many plots, so many conflicts, and even you know what catharsis is, and how to come out of the challenges. And you have given a very, very deep insight to our youngsters today, like how literature or going deep into the literature, whether it is modern literature or a classic literature, how even modern literature, I think it'll deal about the social issues today also. So with that, I think their knowledge, their horizon of knowledge increases, and they can become the best individual of the in the society. Yeah, thank you so much, doctor, and it was very nice interacting with you, and you have come up with so many for our youngsters. I think they should follow it up in their life.
Thank you, ma'am.